Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Alif Haikal bin Muhammad Napiah, and my partner is Muhammad Al-Hafiz. So today we are going to present about family ethics in Islam, which is marriage. Marriage is a legal contract between a man and a woman. Both the groom and the bride are to consent to the marriage of their own free wills. A formal binding contract, which is verbal or on paper, is considered integral to a religiously valid Islamic marriage and outlines the rights and responsibilities of the groom and bride. Marriage in Islam has aspects of ibadah of Allah in the sense that it is in accordance with His commandments, where a husband and wife should love and help each other and rear their children to become true vicegerents of Allah on earth. Islam considers marriage to be one of the most virtuous and approved institutions. Marriage has been described as one of the signs of Allah's power and blessing. Below are the translation from the Al-Quran. And among His signs is that He has created for you spouse from among yourselves so that you may live in tranquility with them. And He has created love and mercy between you. Rightly, there are signs for those who reflect. Next, hukum and purpose and significance of marriage. Marriage is part of the Prophet's Sunnah. Rasulullah SAW had said, "Marriage is part of my Sunnah. Whoever runs away from my path is not from among us." Faith constitutes the bedrock for the institution of the family. A Muslim is not permitted to marry a non-Muslim. Family institution as a social contract. Nikah means akad contract and not a divine contract. In the Quran, marriage is referred to strong covenant. The only legitimate way to establish family is through a proper marriage, equality of the sexes. And next, foundation of marriage. Marriage must be as permanent as possible. Do not divorce women unless for genuine reason, for Allah does not like tasters, those who merely look for new experiences. Marriage must be based on mutual consent. A woman who has been previously married, a divorced or widow, has more right concerning her person than her guardian, and a virgin consent must be consulted about herself, her consent being her silence. Reasonable dowry, known as mah or sadaq. It is the mandatory marriage gift to be presented by the husband to his wife at the wedding. Aisha reported that the Prophet said, "The most blessed wives are those wives whose dowry is affordable. Both have similar rights of good treatments, and they have rights similar to those against them, rights of husband, in a just manner, and men are a degree above them as external authority in the household." Next, we move to criteria of selecting spouse. The Prophet ﷺ said a woman is married for 4 things: her wealth, her family status, her beauty, and her religion. So you should marry a woman for her religion or you will be a loser. It's from Hadith Al-Bukhari. And second, the Prophet ﷺ said, when someone with whose religion and character you are satisfied asks for your daughter in marriage, accede to his request. If you do not do so, there will be corruption and great evil on the earth. From Hadith Al-Tirmidhi. Religion, character, family status, beauty, and wealth. And next we move to Muhammad Al-Hafiz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Al-Hafiz bin Isa. So I'm gonna be continuing what Alif has been presented. So, what is kafa'ah? Kafa'ah in Malay, we call it as kufu. So, kafa'ah is a term used in the field of Islamic jurisprudence with regard to marriage in Islam. In Arabic, literally means equality or equivalence. Is it thus defined as the compatibility or equivalence between a prospective husband and his prospective wife, which should be adhered to. This compatibility is dependent on multiple factors that include religion, social status, morality, piety, wealth, lineage, or custom. The main goal of kafa'ah is to make a peaceful and lasting marriage. So next, we go to the legal ruling of kafa'ah. According to the Mazhab Ash-Shafi'i, which is in the Shafi'i position, Kafa'ah concerns the factors of lineage, religiousness, profession, and being free of defects that permit annulling the marriage contract or nikah. It must not be misunderstood as a recommendation of whom to marry. Rather, it should be taken as a legal restriction to protect a woman's interest in her marriage. If a woman wishes to marry someone who is seemingly incompatible based these factors, there is nothing wrong in her doing so. As an example, an Arab woman should not marry a non-Arab man. Similarly, a virtuous woman should not marry a corrupt man, though it is sufficient should the husband give up his wrongdoing. A daughter of someone with a higher profession should not marry a man of a lowly profession. The wealth of either parties is not a factor to be considered, as it merely contemporary, and those with self-respect and intelligence do not take pride in. So what we can conclude is basically kafa'ah is it important for women to protect what her interest in marriage. With kafa'ah, a woman's interest in marriage has been protected. So next is responsibility of a husband. So the first responsibility of a husband is to provide suitable maintenance for wife and children. So in a hadith from Al-Bukhari said, the wife of Abu Sufyan complained to Prophet of husband's miserliness in not providing her and her children with proper necessities. The Prophet allowed that she may take from her husband's wealth what was reasonably sufficient for their maintenance. So what we can conclude from this hadith is, let's say your husband don't give you proper maintenance or proper or suitable maintenance, you may take from your husband's wealth. So next, to be kind, accommodating, and treat his wife in a loving manner. A husband should not hurt his wife, because a husband must be a good leader for a family. So the next one is, the most perfect believers are those who are the best mannered and the most tender with their wives. In a hadith from Muslim, no believing man should hate a believing woman. If he dislikes one of her characteristics, there will be others that do please him. Next, we go to the responsibility of a wife. So the first responsibility of a wife is to create a comfortably soft and relaxing atmosphere. A wife must provide all the husband needs, including her clothes, her food, and so on, to exist a relaxing atmosphere in a household. Next, to be loving and obedient to her husband. A wife must not neglect any of the husband's ask. But if a husband asks to do bad things, then you may neglect his ask. The next one is not going out except with the husband's permissions. This is very important in a household. If you want to have a perfect marriage, you must follow this. Even if you want to go outside to hang out with your friend, you must tell your husband first. The last one is, the Prophet said, if a woman prays, fasts, guards her chastity, and her obeys her husband, let her enter paradise by whichever door she likes. So what we can conclude from this hadith? So Rasulullah said, if a wife do praise, fast, guards her chastity, and obeys her husband, it is an easiest way for a wife to go to heaven. Then the last one is responsibility of both. So a husband and wife must help each other to follow the right way and practice Islam and safeguard him or her against evils and sins. So a husband and wife must protect each other and also learn and practice about Islam to keep their marriage happy Next, to be kind, understanding, forgiving, and treat the other side in a tender and loving manner. This is very important in a marriage because we do not want any conflict in our marriage, right? So we must always forgive each other, understanding each other, and to be kind to each other. And the last one, to meet the psychological and physical needs of the other side. So yes, husband and wife must be understanding about each other. And the last one, duties towards children. The first one, selection of good parents. So parents must be a good example to their child, so the child can be good as what as their need. The next one is right to legitimacy. Legitimate father and mother, prohibition of legal adoption, to retain his original family's name and to know his real parents. So parents is very important to the children to as the right of the legitimate of the sons. The next one, right to life, which is the prohibition of infanticide and also abortion. The next one, right to equal life chances, which is no discrimination between male and female. This is also important in a household. Like we must not what can we say? We must not choose picking favorite. Like we always more to the boys than less to the girls. We must have an equal, which is no discrimination. And the last one is right to general care, which is the material, spiritual, and educational or intellectuals. So that's all from us. Thank you.